Hello, my name is Gary Mansfield, and this is a bonus episode of the Ministry of Arts podcast. Now, as ever, let's begin by banging these bongos.
Yeah, right. Crazy.
Hello, and welcome to this bonus episode of the Ministry of Arts podcast. Today I've got the absolute pleasure of once again speaking to Nathan Jones, who is dad and possibly even assistant to Background Bob. Now, I won't go into too much detail about Background Bob because, well, Nathan does that in this podcast. But what I will say about Background Bob, whose real name is Noah, is that he's a teenage lad with possibly the biggest smile in Essex. But other than that, throughout his life he's needed a lot of help from the children's ward in his local hospital. And Noah had always loved painting. So his family helped Noah paint A4 bits of cardboard. His parents then contacted some artists and asked if they'd like to create an artwork to put over the top of these paintings. That pretty much instantly snowballed and culminated in a massive exhibition in Colchester's first site gallery, which I was lucky enough to be part of myself. Now, Background Bob is about to have his third exhibition, and if you're listening to this on the day of release, which is Friday the 31st, then that'll be tomorrow, the 1st of April. And the show's going to be on for a whopping 6 months. So to tell you more about the exhibition and its accompanying book, please come with me and meet Nathan Jones. And how's Noah and the family, all right?
Yeah, he's been all right, mate. He's slowly kind of making good steps. So you kind of, with him, it's always kind of a step forward and a step back, a step forward.
Of course.
And but we take the good days and get through the bad days like everyone else. He's doing okay though. He's gone off to Tesco's with his mum because he's living the famous lifestyle dream.
Yeah. Well, he hasn't gone to open the new store, has he?
No. I think he's gone to Tesco's and then he's going to a garden centre to pick up some plant pots. So.
Oh, it's that celebrity lifestyle, right?
Yeah. Which is funny though, because they always recognise him at the garden centre and come over and talk to him.
Nice.
He loves it, so it's brilliant. We're drastically trying to sort of like keep him fit and healthy for opening day, because I think opening day is going to be a big deal for him. We've been hyping him all week, and he's very, very excited about it all. But unfortunately, kind of getting excited is something that's it makes him so tired now, and he gets kind of out of breath. And
it's great that first site in Colchester have given you the third exhibition, isn't it?
Yeah, we were kind of quite surprised by it already, because we'd sort of had talks with them already, and at the end of last year's project, and they asked us if we were doing it again. And initially they did say that they probably couldn't take it just because of the busy diary that they've got already. Yeah. And we were like, oh, well, we've kind of had a good run with those guys. They've really supported us and put on 2 great shows. So grateful for kind of, working with them. But then it kind of threw up the problem of trying to find somewhere else to exhibit it. And it wasn't the first time. So kind of it's probably not as exciting to some galleries. And,
well, you was only expecting the one, wasn't you?
Well, completely, yeah. We were expecting 8 collaborations because that's all we painted initially. So, but then various kind of health conditions and our life kind of got put on hold. Kind of health scares with Noah, kind of other health scares in the family, just made us put a halt on everything. And we were very aware that I didn't want to rush the project. I wanted to kind of make the third one, kind of like a big kind of final hurrah, as it were. But and I didn't want to rush anything, so we just kind of stopped it for a little while. And in the meantime, First Sight came back to us and said, if you're willing to wait until April, then we can put on a show again. We'd love to do it, because it's we started it all off, and kind of it'd be really nice to kind of do the third and final one there with those guys. So kind of it's weird how life plays out. I was really disappointed, and also health conditions were kind of driving us into the ground a little bit and making the project really hard to run. And we were uncertain, kind of, if to kind of carry on with it and stuff.
Yeah.
It felt really different with him, with him being really, really poorly and in hospital. Unfortunately, there was moments where he was really, really ill in hospital, and there was, moments where we thought maybe he would make it, and it really changed the whole thinking behind the project of kind of, those conversations of, do we want to kind of carry on with it, and do we want it to continue in the background, and kind of, but me and my wife are very positive about it, and it's always been a project filled with love for him, and and he's supported massively by his nearly 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Brilliant.
Which is ridiculous. So,
well, for anyone that may not be aware of who we're talking about, we are talking about Background Bob, and I'm speaking to Nathan, who is the PA of the PA of Background Bob, or whatever hat you decide to be wearing.
Dog's body.
Dog's body will do. So if I hand over to you, Nathan, if you could tell us who Background Bob is, what Background Bob is, and what's about to happen.
Of course. So Background Bob is an alias of my now 14-year-old son, Noah. He's a lovely, smiley, happy, cheeky little boy who unfortunately is quite disabled. He has hydrocephalus, epilepsy and cerebral palsy, as well as scoliosis. So he's kind of, he's been thrown the whole shebang. But like I said, despite that, he's a really happy, fun little boy. During the first lockdown, we decided to have a little bit of fun and paint some bits of cardboard and put a shout out on social media to ask if anyone wanted to come and collaborate with him. We only painted 8 pieces of cardboard because we didn't think it'd be a huge hit. It was a huge hit. We've had street artists and famous artists from all over the world join in. He's now collaborated with over 725 artists from actually all over the world, including some really, really famous headline artists. Like this year, he's painted with Shepherd Fairy, Mr. Doodle, Grayson Perry, and most notably, I guess, the global mega star Ed Sheeran.
That's not bad, is it?
No, it's just kept on growing. The first one was, the first project was great because it was in lockdown and it kind of filled our time, and it was really lovely, and it was a lovely positive story to be spreading. It kind of filled our day where we just painted backgrounds each day and we sent them out each day, and then we sat there and waited for them to come back, and it kind of, we were on the news and we made the one show, and it kind of just grew and grew. We produced a book, and it's slowly kind of grown from there. And I realized that at the end of the first project, I'd had so many artists contact and saying, please do it again, just do it again.
Yeah.
So I've done it again, and we've done it again. So this is our 3rd year of running it. So like I said, it's collaborated with over 720 artists so far now. All the proceeds of a book, which we make every year, go straight to Colchester and Ipswich Hospital Charity, which is our local children's ward, for all the help that they give us and the care that they give him, and continue to do so probably for the rest of his life. And the money is just to be used to brighten up those sort of like dull little areas in the hospital, make it a bit more fun, make it a bit more cheery, but also kind of make it it's always a depressing kind of visit, a hospital visit, even if it's if it's not serious, but for a lot of times in the children's ward it's very anxious, very serious, and it's very scary. So if we can kind of take the edge off some of that and just make it all a bit more welcoming and a bit nice, and help kind of ease people's minds whilst they're going through these worrying times with their children being in hospital. So it's been really, really rewarding. It's not just raising the huge amount of money we've raised. I mean, through the auctions of his artwork and the books, he's made over £160,000.
Brilliant.
Which is, I think our initial aim was to raise £5,000.
Superb.
So, we're still kind of like kicking ourselves now. I mean, a question I keep regularly getting asked now is that, you've raised 160 grand, kind of, how much would you like to raise from this one? And I've never had any expectations or hopes. Kind of any money that we make is greatly appreciated and will be used well at the hospital. But it would be definitely nice to break 90 grand this time, so we can say we've handed over £250,000 from a tiny little project that we started in lockdown. But like I said, all proceeds are hugely appreciated.
So how many artists have you got this time round on the third exhibition?
Another 256, I think there is. That seems to be the first time round. We opened it up to the rules. Basically, were if you sent me your address, I sent you a background, and so we'd sit and paint these backgrounds every day, and we'd have a look through Instagram and Facebook, see who'd sent us address, and then we'd send them out, and it worked out about 250. Which, when we came to make a book and hold an auction, it became a manageable amount of artists to kind of get involved with. Yourself, kind of like getting involved with artists, although they're lovely, giving, talented people, it is like herding cats sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible. And, I'm guilty of it myself in the past.
So 250 seemed kind of like the right amount. It makes the book a nice size without it becoming like a telephone directory.
Yeah.
We could have actually, easily have ramped that up to 500. The response was enormous. The first book we naturally grew, and we had the 250 odd artists who got involved. When I put a shout out for we're going to do it again, I think we had over 750 artists came forward, and we've had the same again this year. It was it was all the artists who've taken part in the last projects all jump in and want to do it again, and then another 750 new artists, which is is great, and actually it did throw up its own dilemmas, kind of because at some point then I had to kind of pick and choose kind of artists, and we did that on loads of bases of criteria, and we had a list of things of what kind of artists they were, kind of who they were, what they did for a living. We asked people to tell us something about them.
Yeah.
So kind of there was again a lot of NHS staff, a lot of social workers and key workers. We wanted to get those guys involved in our project because it's something that's close to us. It's it's part of our lives, but sometimes the applications, I guess we got it, were just fun and and had a laugh, and we want that too.
It's hard telling Noah to up his workload as well.
Yeah,
and work 3 or 4 times harder.
Yeah, well, I know. Well, the other thing is that kind of obviously in lockdown, when we were doing this project, we had all day every day.
Yeah.
And it's not a quick process painting the backgrounds, unfortunately, and it's messy, and some days you don't want to do it. So it's kind of to paint 250, it kind of just became something routinely that we did within each day. And some days it took 10 minutes, some days it took an hour, but we just did it every day as part of his day. And I think he really I'd say right now it's painting time. Come on, you got to get your work head on. He has a little Superman apron we put on, so he knows he's going to work. and he really loves it. Bless him. He's like, sometimes I think he likes the idea of it more than he actually likes doing it. But
start becoming a bit of a diva. Start demanding.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was lots of diva days.
How was it getting hold of the likes of Shepard Fairey, Mr. Doodle, Grayson Perry, or Ed Sheeran?
Oh, wow, they've all got their own little story, actually. I'll give you a couple of them. Of course, obviously, people know people.
Yeah.
It's just, and this has been one good thing about this project, is that so many people have wanted to help. So there's lots of other ways of helping, but lots of artists who, aren't so famous say, I know so-and-so, and I know so-and-so, if I could get you in touch, and you go, of course, yes, please. So Shepard came about sort of via lots of people, actually. I think, he's a well-loved and well-respected artist, and lots of people know him. And there was various links, like the Lisa Project, and a guy called Andy, who we know, who worked closely with Shepard. I think they probably put a good word in for us, which was amazing. Mr. Doodle, kind of, do you know what? I actually just wrote to Mr. Doodle, and Mr. Doodle's manager, I think, is, or not manager, probably his PA is Mr. Doodle's dad.
Oh, there you go.
Mr. Doodle's dad wrote
Doodle Senior.
Yeah, he wrote a lovely email back to us and said, yeah, it sounds like a great idea. You definitely send us a background and we'll get involved. Grayson was one of those ones that we'd had on the radar for a long time. Me and my wife are big Grayson Perry fans, and also during all of the projects, he was running his own lockdown TV projects, wasn't he? His own. So it was a big sort of thing for us to try and get him involved, and we just kept on hitting a dead end. It was it was always management and PR and kind of and I don't ever think I just think that if you put the background in the hand of an artist and he has a quick read about what it's really about, I can see a lot of people wanting to do it, even if they're busy.
Of course.
And so, and we knew that with Grayson, he seems like a lovely guy and, and a big heart. And so I bypassed all his managers and all his people. I did the same with Joe Lycett as well, getting him involved. I found out he was doing a gig at a place, and I sent a background with in an envelope with urgent written all over it, and posted it to Grayson Perry. So I posted it a couple of days before Grayson was going to be there. So obviously the venue hold on to it for a bit and then pass it on to him. I figured it's the best chance of getting it in his hands. And in both ways it worked, because I sent one to Joe Lycett, who was doing a comedy gig in Bristol or somewhere, and Grayson was doing a chat somewhere in Margate. And so we got to it. The Ed Sheeran one came about again through another artist who's involved this year. And like a lot of the people who kind of get involved, I also have a quick look through their Instagram and see what their work they do and kind of see who they are. But and there was a photo of him standing there with Ed Sheeran and another couple of guys, and it said something like, "Good to hang out with my homie Ed." So I messaged him and said, like, is there any chance I can, if I send you a couple of our books, can you get them to Ed Sheeran? I said, that'll be enough. I'll be well chuffed if Ed Sheeran even hears about our project. And so I sent a couple of books, but also with those couple of books, I did also send a background.
Of course.
Because why not? I'm only getting one opportunity to do this. So I thought I'll chuck one in there. And it kind of went on for a couple of months, and I didn't hear anything from it. And I knew this guy was trying, but obviously, Ed's a busy man. It just started his world tour, and I'm sure it's not that easy to pin down. So I think he was in New Zealand or Australia or something, and then all of a sudden one day out of the blue, I just got a random WhatsApp message, which was a video message of Ed Sheeran holding a book saying, "Thank you, Noah. I love what you're doing, and I'll paint your background soon."
Brilliant.
And it was like, oh God! And then again, we waited and waited for Ed to actually do it, and then my mate, the artist who helped us out, his name is Mike Kindred. He said, "Oh, I've got Ed's background. Come and get it." So we went down and met up with them and picked it up, which was incredible. It's just such a strange thing. I mean, music's a massive thing in our house, and Ed's written some lovely songs that kind of are very touching to a lot of people. So it's lovely to have him involved.
When will they be going on sale, Nathan?
These ones will now be going on sale after the exhibition. So the exhibition starts on Saturday, the 1st of April, and will run until the 8th of October. And then we'll give it probably a couple of weeks, I reckon, because I've got to get them back from the gallery, but then also I have to then have the mammoth task of listing them all. So we're going to sell them all on eBay again. I think the ethos of the project has always been that we want it to be fully inclusive. We want it to be open to everyone, and also that side of it for me is when it comes to the sale of it as well. I wasn't interested in any way of kind of getting involved with an auction house or something like that. I mean, we did have auction houses who very kindly came forward and offered us spots to sell it for free or for a low commission cost or something like that. But I want the pieces to be bought by people who so everyone can have a chance of winning one. Yeah, and I think eBay was the most open and the most fair platform to do it. I think everyone pretty much uses eBay nowadays. Yeah, it's a nice listing process for me, an easier listing process for me, less work because I'm quite busy already with Noah, and also things like the money can be directed straight to the charity. It's completely transparent. I don't touch any of the money. It goes straight to the account of the hospital. They make all of the money, and eBay offer that service for free. So it just makes it accessible. I like the idea that kind of you can sit there on the day and kind of bid and do see what you can win. And the first year it it just went crazy. I mean, it was every time we were refreshing the screen, it had gone up like £2,000. And some of the pieces kind of pretty much trebled in the last minute of the auction, which was great. The second auction did really well as well. I think we raised another nearly 50 grand from the second auction. And considering, you know, there was a cost of living crisis going on and a war in Ukraine and lots of fundraising, you know, rightly so, going on for those kind of efforts, we were really, really pleased with the amount of money we raised then as well. We're really happy with kind of how it's all kind of worked out, and you know, kind of hope it's a huge hit again.
And for anyone who's not able to make the exhibition, is anyone able to see it on your social media?
We've posted all of the artwork, as well as just us messing around as a family and all of the other rubbish that we do that people seem to love. So all the artwork is there. We will be, for those who can't make it to the exhibition, we of course have a book which you can buy, which contains all of the artwork. That will be hopefully available via our Instagram and a website link, which we'll put up on the 15th of April. We're still having a few teething problems with the selling platform at the moment, and we're just kind of like a beta testing it in the background just to make sure it all goes right, because I don't want people not getting books that they bought. Or we will, after the first initial month or so of the auction being up and running, do a couple of video walkarounds, and for those who can't come, and people, we've got lots of followers who live abroad, and you know, and lots of artists who took part who, you know, live in America and Australia and places, so we're, you know, pretty sure they're not coming.
And would there be a hashtag anyone could follow? I presume hashtag background Bob.
Yeah, it's always hashtag background Bob. We add it to everything, so and you know, it's become a good hashtag. It's quite highly followed, which is lovely. When we first started this project, it was something that we very quickly became aware of. Like, do we want to kind of like share our son in this way? You know, and putting him out there was, you know, one of those things. Is, did we want to do it? You know, there's safety issues, and you know, all of the other rubbish that comes along with social media. But you know, but there's also lots of awesome stuff that comes with social media, and one of the best things from this project has me being able to share my son with you all, and to watch you all lovingly embrace him and follow his crazy routine of the life. And it's been so lovely to see that. You know, we've had some dark times in the last 6 months, and things like that have really kind of got us through. You know, and also all of the connections and friends and opportunities that have come from this project. You know, it's not just about that. It's been so lovely to, you know, kind of chat with people and meet with people. And, you know, we've been invited to various kind of events probably that we wouldn't have been invited to. We've been sent, you know, kind of hate to think how many gifts we've been sent. It's probably in the hundreds, which is, you know, really, really lovely. And so, you know, everything about it has been completely joyous, and at the heart of it has been my little boy. It's, you know, it's left a wonderful legacy for him for whatever happens later on in his life. He's more than had his 15 minutes of fame, and he's stamped himself, you know, all over the place, but in a really loving and creative way, which is just perfect. Brilliant. Absolutely perfect.
Brilliant.
Right, I better go because I'm going to do some install.
Right, me old mate. Well, you have a good day. And
yeah, and you, bud.
I'll speak to you soon.
Always a pleasure. Stay safe,
all
mate.
The best to the family, mate.
Thanks, mate. Bye-bye.
If you've got an exhibition or any other creative project within the arts, or even just want to promote your own artwork, you could do that in podcast form, similar to the one you've just listened to. They start at a convenient price point that is comfortable for any artist working on a budget. This podcast itself is created by working artists, and we know how important that is. So to find out more information, you can email us on ministryofartsorg@gmail.com or on Instagram @ministryofartsorg. Ta-da!